What is up everyone, it is Dee and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be talking about some of the things I wished I knew about university residence before moving in. Okay, so first of all, I'm just gonna tell you guys what are the different types of accommodations that you can find for university students in South Africa. So the first one is the university accommodation. So this one is usually referred to as RES, which is shortcut for residence, and this one is provided by the university. So what happens is when you apply for your university or your diploma or your degree and stuff like that, during the application process you are asked if you would like to apply for residence. If you know you want to apply for residence, I just want to say this quickly. If you know that you want to apply for residence, please click yes, because there has been cases where students have clicked no, and when they had to move in, like say for instance a student who's coming from Johannesburg to Cape Town or from the Eastern Cape to Cape Town, then they find themselves stranded here simply because of they didn't know that they had clicked no. So when you apply, read everything. I know it seems time consuming, but it is important that you read everything. That way you know what are you taking yes to and what are you taking no to. Because I've had people who've asked me, can you please help me find accommodation, blah 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 blah. I'm like, honey, did you apply for it? It's like, I thought I did, but I didn't. So please make sure that when you apply, you read carefully and then click yes or no, because it's a very small question with a very small blocky on like on the CPUT website. So if you're not paying attention, you can easily say no. As I understand, it's like a common mistake. So please, when you do apply, do it slowly. Don't be in a rush. Take your time, baby girl. Take your time. Okay, so this accommodation, usually the university makes the placement. So when you get accepted, they will follow up with a residence acceptance letter or email or whatever form of communication the university has with you. And then they will tell you that, okay, you have been placed in this particular residence and stuff like that. And then we have another form of accommodation. This one is usually referred to student accommodation. So there are also two types of student accommodations. One is the one that is accredited by NSFAS. Like I said, if you are a NSFAS student and you are also non financial aid student and you would like to reside at a private student accommodation, then NSFAS can pay for it. If it states that it is NSFAS approved, meaning that that particular student accommodation do accept money from NSFAS. So yeah. And then there is a other form of private student accommodation. This one, usually you pay for it. And before I move into this one, so the first one, the first student accommodation that I referred to, you do have to, I am aware that you do have to pay a deposit. So if you're planning on staying in a private student accommodation, make plans, because I remember somebody told me that the deposit that they paid was about 2,000 rands. So it varies, obviously, depending on how much the student accommodation costs, and obviously they're not the same. So yeah, so then the other private student accommodation, this one is not accredited either by the university or by NSFAS, so your parents or yourself have to pay for this one. My neighbor is laughing. I can hear her from here. Hi, neighbor. Okay, so then the last one. This one is for the people who are living their best lives in university. This one, apartment. You are the girl, you are the guy. There are people who actually rent out apartments for their children simply because of they do not trust residence and student accommodations. Because yes, residence and student accommodations definitely have their own drama. They definitely have their own cons, but they also do have their own pros. But some parents do not feel comfortable with their children staying in a very public place such as residence and student accommodation, so they prefer to get them a nice apartment with nice security and all of that. So nice life problems, basically. Okay, so let's get started with this video. Okay, so for me personally, when I got accepted, oh, it took a while. It's a story. It's a whole story of me having to be accepted for residence. But the first thing that I can honestly say is, one, plan ahead. I always say this. I said this in my first video. on the things I wish I knew about the uni, plan ahead financially, because especially if you are staying at the first two accommodations that I stated. So what happens is, I'm aware that some students don't know exactly what the university will provide. Some universities do state, you know, what type of things will be provided for you. But for me, I only found out when I came to sign in for like my room and everything, you know, get my room assigned to me and stuff like that. So I only found out then that, okay, first thing that is provided for me is a bed. Usually this bed is a single bed. So if you're planning on buying bed sheets and stuff like that, plan for a single. I do not know of any university that offers double beds, but if I'm assuming there is a university that might probably offer a double bed, UCT, Wits, and Stellenbosch. Like, I feel like those are the universities that would definitely have double beds in their accommodations. So yeah, so usually when you move into a student accommodation or residence, plan ahead. Plan ahead as in, you're gonna need pots. You are definitely going to need dishes. You're gonna need kitchen utensils. You're definitely gonna need a lot of things: bedding, pillows, whatever that is necessary for you to whatever you have at home. Basically, you're gonna need address, because you're kind of like moving into your little mini apartment. And then another thing that you need to know is that with the university residents, usually we have a sharing thing, okay? As in, we refer to our rooms as either a double or a single, and there are cases where, hear me out, 3 people reside in one bedroom. I'm gonna just give you a moment to soak that in. Yes, 3 people. Okay. Okay. So yeah, I had a double when I first moved in 2019. I was sharing. I had a roommate, and luckily enough, it was just the 2 of us. And then there are people, like I said, who share a room, and it's 3 people in a room. And sometimes this can be just for first year, and then in second year you can be assigned a single room. However, I am aware that at CPUT there are certain residents where if there are 3 people sharing a room, the chances are they're going to share that room until they graduate. Yeah, until they graduate. So that's a thing. That's a thing. Okay. So yeah, and then with some residents, what they do is you share first year, second year, and then third year you assigned a single room. In my residence, you only share first year, second year, and third year you are assigned a single room. What happened to me is in 2020 I got assigned a single room. So I'm like, I was a first year with a single room. But I was actually doing my second year in the university, so they assigned me a single bedroom, and I was happy. Also, another thing is you're definitely gonna need a fridge. Like, okay, I won't say buy the fridge now. Like, don't be excited to buy a fridge immediately, but like I said, plan ahead, have the money saved up already, because some university residents do provide fridge for students, and then some university residents do not. Mine does not at all. They don't even have stoves that work here. Like, we have stoves, but they are mostly decorative stoves, and they have not worked ever since I have moved in this residence, and it is my 3rd year here, so I don't think they're planning on fixing these stoves anytime soon. My friend, what are you doing here? Sorry, there's this thing flying freely in my room, and you're not paying rent. Hi, my friend, we need to talk. Okay, can you move now? Go. Okay, so yeah, so some of the university accommodations, you definitely might have to have money for a stove and a fridge, because it's a struggle. It's generally a struggle. So yeah, like, just plan ahead for those type of things. Also, when you do move in and you get accepted to a student accommodation or student rest, guys, this is not a hotel. Like, I've seen students who do this. You come to university residence with no pillows, no bedding, no dolulu. Like, the only thing the university cares that you have a pillow, and yeah, they provided you a mattress. That's the only thing they'll do for you, honey. They literally provided you a mattress. How you're going to cover it, where you're going to place your head, that is honestly up to you. So when you move in, please, guys, have sheets, have bed sheets, have your blankets, have your duvet, your comforters and whatnot, have your pillows and your pillowcases. It's important that you have those. Save money up for a fridge if a fridge is not provided by the accommodation that you reside in, and also have money just in case for a stove. And if you know that you are a wild and out person, I would definitely suggest that you buy a stove with an oven in it. Some chances, like in my residence, we don't have microwaves. Some residents, they have microwaves. So some students buy their own microwaves here. Some students buy their own mini stoves. I have yet to buy a stove. I only bought a fridge, and that I only bought a fridge last year because in 2019 I was sharing a fridge with my roommate, which is going to lead me to my other topic, sharing in university residence. So it is not compulsory for you to share in university. Don't hurt yourself, especially if you know that you are a specific person with a specific diet. Don't do it. I will honestly wouldn't suggest that you do it. And also another thing is, chances are you might be placed with somebody who is older. Like, there are cases where you are placed with somebody who is going to bully you. Literally, they will bully you, but you won't see it because they're very nice. They're gonna smile first, you know, they're gonna charm you, and you're gonna think this person is really nice and stuff like that. And you're gonna cook and you're gonna clean and you're gonna do everything in the room while this person is living their best life via you. I've personally experienced this, not exactly as a roommate type of thing, but we had a girl, and this sis always had to come to our room. Like, she would come to our room and, you know, she'll act all friendly. Like, you know, she'll come in, hey guys, how are you guys doing? Are you guys okay? We're like, oh, we good. Me and my roommate looking at each other like, okay, what's going on here? And what we didn't notice was that actually the girl was looking at what is it that we have, because we have shelves. So we store our food on shelves. If you haven't watched my room tour, please make sure that you watch my room tour so you can understand what I'm referring to. So our shelves are very like, they show you everything. Like, you'll see everything. So what the sis would do is 2 days later, she'll come knocking like, hey, can I please borrow oil? Till this day, I'm still waiting for my oil to return. I borrowed it, so it needs to come back to me. It needs to come back. And next thing, can I please borrow eggs? Can I please borrow, do you guys have onions? Do you guys have green pepper? Hi, when I was there, address where we're getting green pepper. We don't have money for green pepper. Onion is privilege enough. Tomato, you know what? You are just showing us what you are rich. So yeah, so don't, like, be aware of certain people who do this, because they are, especially because I know with third years can be bullies, or people who are generally older than you and who have been residing at that residence for a longer period of, because we know how to smell fresh meat now. We know how to smell fresh meat. Like, you are, like, literally when you move in and dress, you definitely look like that lost kid, the new kid. Everything is new. Everything is don't smile with people. Like, be nice, but don't be too nice. Don't be naive, because there are people who are definitely going to bully you. There are people who are only going to talk to you simply because of they want something from you and stuff like that. And which I honestly don't understand, because people like that, usually what they do is they spend their money on like nice things, you know, alcohol, fast foods and stuff like that. And then when that money is finished, suddenly they know your name, like, hey babes, how are you? Can I please have this? Can I, like, to a point that it got to a point where the girl would actually ask me, like, if I'm cooking in the kitchen, like, I had a frying pan, so I would cook in the kitchen using my frying pan, and then she'll be like, can you please dish up for me? What? Okay, so those things, they definitely happen. My roommate and I, we didn't share food at all. Like, what we would do is occasionally, you know, if she's buying McDonald's or she's buying KFC and stuff like that, like, we'd offer food to each other and stuff like that. Or like, say for instance, her NSFS came out early and stuff like that, and she buys food and stuff like that, then she'll be like, hey D, do you want, you know, some KFC and stuff like that? I'll be like, you know. And then same thing with me, like, when my answers comes out a day or two later, I'll be like, oh Rooms, I bought, you know, pizza, do you want some, and stuff like that. And then, like, that's I feel like we had a healthy relationship in that sense. So we didn't share because we didn't really like, especially in 2019, I had a very particular set of food, and I know I don't cook, so I feel like it wouldn't be fair on her if I shared with her and stuff like that. And she also had a bad experience with somebody that she had shared with previously, so she wasn't really ready to have a sharing episode again. So it worked out very well for us. And yeah, so Another thing that you also need to be aware of is the different types of accommodations offered by the university. So what I mean by this is that some universities, it's like some accommodations are gender based, meaning that only one, like only a set of gender stays here. So only males, this is only a male accommodation, and then this is only females accommodation, and then there's mixed accommodations. I got a only females accommodation. The only males that we have here is the man who comes and cleans the garden, the man who comes and cleans the swimming pool, and the securities, and that's it. Those are the only males here. So you don't actually get to choose. I didn't get to choose which residence I wanted to stay in. I just got assigned to this residence. However, what I am aware of is that the following year, like towards the end of the year, when you reapply for rares to tell them that you're actually coming back next year, you have the option of changing residence. But it's a tricky one. It's really a tricky one. So yeah, so you end up actually having the option, but I don't know about other universities. I think with VITS, I remember when I applied at VITS, that asked me which accommodation, like which residence do I want to be placed in. And I don't even know which are these residents and stuff like that. So if you don't know these residents, the question can be very confusing. So I just felt like with CPUT, they didn't ask me that question. So I wasn't even bothered. I was just kind of like, as long as they place me at accommodation that is close to campus, or if it's not close to campus, there should be a mode of transportation provided for me. And yes, there is a mode of transportation provided for me, which is going to lead me to my other topic. So for university residents, what you should be aware of is that they do offer a shuttle or a bus or any form of transportation that will take you from your residence to campus and back. And these, they kind of operate on an hourly schedule or a 45-minute schedule and stuff like that. And they start operating from 7:30 until 10. And I do know that with the UCT, I think they say, I remember somebody told me that they have a shuttle that takes them from campus to town and from town back to campus. We do not have that. You have a campus, you have a shuttle that takes you from residence to campus. You will walk to the town. It's as simple as that, which I feel like we should have a shuttle that takes us to town, because we are so like CPT students rely on town. We just need town. I also know that some of the residents that are very close to CPUT do not have any mode of transportation. Your mode of transportation is your feet. It will take you from point A to point B, and that's it. So that's another thing that you should be aware of. So you don't necessarily have to struggle in terms of money. But if you are staying at a private student accommodation, and that student accommodation is not close to any of your university's residence, then chances are you might have to use another form of transportation, whether it be a bus or it be a taxi or Uber, because I know some of y'all are loaded. So that would be your way of commuting from point A to point B. So I think I've covered basically most of the things that you need to know about residence. This is not necessarily my own personal experience. Like, I've taken my own personal experience and I've also mixed it up with some of my friends' experiences and some of the people that I have encountered before and stuff like that. So if you're planning on applying to university and you are just not certain about what residence is all about, I hope this video covers some of the questions that you have. And yeah, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to put them in the comment section, and I'll definitely get back to you. But if it requires me to do a video explaining or giving you an answer, I will definitely do that. So yeah, so without wasting any of you guys' time, thank you so much for tuning in, and please don't forget to like, please don't forget to subscribe, and share with any person that you feel that would definitely need this information in future. And yeah, I hope you guys will have a great week ahead, and love y'all. Bye.